Hello everyone, welcome back to Cross Blitz. Today I will be fighting Sarella in the CS Spout Pier. So yesterday I got the Minimagul mana finished with Lieutenant Juniper, and now I'm fighting the dinosaur deck, which happens to be very similar to the Minimagul mana in a couple of ways. So my thing is playing dinosaurs, which are very big cards that usually have trample, so they deal a lot of damage. That's hard to block. Like Minimagul, she kind of has removal, although her kind of removal is a little bit different from what Minimagul has. He has cards that deal damage to your minions. She has thorns, so if your minions attack, they take damage. Yeah, she, because of that, she can also take quite a bit of a beating. Like she also has a lot of ways to just block you by filling the row with a bunch of minions. And if you have a successful strategy for Minimagul, that same strategy would probably also work on C-Spout Pier. Maybe put a little bit more emphasis on having board clear, because Trapezosaurs or dinosaurs tend to have overgrow as a keyword, so they spawn multiple of themselves, and especially in the early middle part of the fight, she's gonna start spamming a bunch of Razor Sprouts, which buff themselves whenever a copy of them dies. So if you kill them one by one, you eventually are gonna end up with like a 6/6 dinosaur on turn 4 or whatever. So instead, try to have some spells that can clear them all out in one fell swoop. But the way I went about it yesterday with Lieutenant Juniper, she already has a board clear in the starting deck, so I could basically just do the same thing to solve that fight. But in the series, I am trying to get a little bit of variety with my mercenary picks. So I think what I wanted to try doing is playing Sawnose Sid. So reason why I want to go with Sawnose Sid is he has that ultimate when he devours 8 friendly minions. Devour is a keyword that a lot of his minions have, or not a keyword, but like a mechanic, where they eat cards, which is basically just killing a card on the board, or like removing a card from the deck or in your hand, and then giving you some kind of buff in exchange for that. And yeah, if he eats enough of his own minions, then he can eat all enemy and minions and absorb their stats. Those minions will gain fleeting, but that doesn't really matter, because with the, well, first of all, you're probably gaining like 20 attack on all of your minions. Even if you only have 2 minions on the board, it's pretty much lethal. And on this map, those minions would lose their buffs anyway after one attack with the Silence Mask. So yeah, I think this is an interesting way to counter the enemy boss. I'm not sure if that's gonna be a successful strategy. Sawnose Sid has some struggles on this map. The silence kind of restricts him to a couple of strategies. Like, you can't really use the signature minion who eats your minions when he takes damage and then spits them out when he dies. However, on this map he'll get silenced, so he'll just eat your minions and die, and they'll all stay in his belly. You don't get any extra summons. But yeah, I think there are still some things you can do with them. So I'm gonna go with Norfin. I think that's kind of like your yeah, a pretty important one drop in this deck. Eats random minions and gives you buffs. So there are basically two, like with most minions, two Elder Relics he has. And I think one of them is probably a lot better than the other. And the one you want to have with this minion in the deck is Blood Sausage. Once per turn, when you devour a friendly minion, add it to your hand. So those Norphins can basically give you some free buffs. They draw one when they die, which effectively means that they cycle themselves. And if you have a devoted deckhand in the deck, then you even get a free summon out of it. Devoted deckhand summons itself when it gets devoured. Also, very important pick. I think that one pretty much goes in every Sawnose Sid deck, no matter what strategy you're leaning into. Alternatively, his other Elder Relic is where is it? It's like a knife-looking thing. Riptide Gutter. Every turn you get a Gutter Blade, which allows you to devour a friendly minion of your choice to restore health. There are definitely some things you can do with that if you get a good amount of hand buffs, which you can still, you can get with some common relics. You can convert that power into HP. Allows you to consistently tick up your ultimate. But I think that draw can lets you scale out of control a lot quicker. And then for the third choice, so I don't want to pick up the Famished Fish. That's what I'd usually go for with Sawnose Sid. It devours adjacent minions. So turn by turn scaler, which is pretty bad with the Silence Mask, where your minions lose their special abilities after one attack. So instead, I could take a Feral Claw, which is some removal. I could take a Shiverfin Acolyte, which gives me more Norphins. So draw two Norphins with one card, basically. Hungry Clucky, also kind of removal, where the potency of its removal ability scales with how much hand buffs it gets. Hydrofin, devour a minion in your opponent's hand and gain its stat. Could be pretty good against the final boss. Eat their big dinosaur cards before they can even be played. But as a 7 mana cost, probably won't help me much in the early fights. So I think all three of the other options look kind of decent. If I go for the Draw Relic, this is definitely like a pretty good pick, although I don't necessarily like that it has low stats. Might suck a little bit in the early fights. Hungry Clucky can give me both power and removal. Feral Claw gives me removal, but is a bit more consistent. Also scales nicely with damage trinkets, since it deals 3 instances of damage. think I'm gonna go with the Hangry Clucky, see where that goes. And then in terms of relics, yeah, so this upper section of my relic bands will probably just stay the same. Dual Blades is useless on this map. Sly Gloves is good on this map, but weaker than it is usual. Counteracts the mana attacks when you pick up different colors, but I kind of just want to avoid picking up different colors altogether. Yeah, those. Maybe I unban the Mimic Ring. Allows me to get extra cards the opponent has. If I'm going to go late, then this might give me some card advantage. Basically, once you're at the stage where you draw one card per turn with the Mimic Ring, you can just copy whatever the enemy has, probably negate it, and then make your own play and edge out some kind of advantage. I will unban the Rumble Ring. Rumble Ring can give me freeze fists, which, since I'm playing blue, they won't cost more. Blood Bangles could be interesting. Basically allows me to use Hot Hat minions without the Hot Hat minions taking return damage. Might wanna take that, just so my minions might survive a Thorns hit as well. And then I wanna reban the Crimson Flute, which makes spells more expensive for the opponent. I mean, but yeah, that one's not really good against that particular enemy. Is very spell focused and usually only good if you're forcing the enemy to play spells somehow, mostly with the poison deck. I probably don't want Evolve. Kind of. There are some applications for this. I mean, like, it can devolve dinosaurs. It also means that if I summon devoted deckhands onto the board, they can evolve into bigger minions, which they're pretty likely to because they have below vanilla stats. So even if they evolve into like a slightly less than vanilla 4-drop, it'll be stronger. So like from a 2/2 into a 3/3. It just means that I can't eat them again. So it's a matter of how often will I eat devoted deckhands on once they are on the board. Right now in the base deck, the only way I can eat those things is with Northlands. Or the Sawnose Sid, but I kind of want to avoid using Sawnose Sid. So yeah, maybe I will leave Evolve open. I think leaving the Mimic Ring open is alright. I will ban the Riptide Gutter so that I'm more likely to see the Blood Sausage as my Elder Relic of choice. So that leaves me with 2 more bans. What I definitely want to see is Steel Chomps. I devour random minions and combat stats and feed those stats to minions in my hand. Which means preferably I want to get rid of some other common relics that might decrease the chance of seeing that particular relic. Alright, so I paused the recording just now so I could finish thinking about what to ban, and I settled on banning the blood bangles after all, because I think that just out of the common relics there are, those are probably pretty weak, like particularly common relics that can always show up and are not tied to any kind of specific faction. And if I pick up something like Nilmi, which is another blue deck, and has candles, then I don't really want my hot end minions to not take damage. I want them to die. And then I will also take Vital Edge out of the pool, because I'm probably not gonna have that many spells in the deck. Like, I do want a couple, especially some kind of board clear, but I'm not gonna spam spells in a way where that relic would benefit me, do 1 damage whenever I play a spell to a random enemy minion. As for trinkets, I think I want all the common stat ups, because the devoted deckhand really likes stat ups, so that whenever you devour him and gain stats based on that devouring, that'll give you even more stats. And since he has a common tag, like that gray little circle in the corner, he can't get anything better than that. I will still ban Dual Strike because it's useless on that map. I will still ban Rune of Calling because I don't really like it that much. Make a spell more expensive, but make it summon a minion. I think I'm content with leaving the -1 to all stats banned as well. It can be alright if I buff up my minions to a point where they just become extremely large and that -1 doesn't matter, but I'd still prefer to just see the -1 mana. Swift Strike, I think, doesn't particularly matter. If I super buff my minions then and have 30 health, then they don't really care about not taking return damage. Or if I use my ultimate, they die from having fleeting anyway. Flying is okay, but I'd prefer seeing trample. Uncommon trinkets are in general not fantastic because, like, 2 of my most important minions, Devoted Deckhand and Morphin, are just commons. Maybe I want to get rid of Thorns. I think so. There is this relic which devours my minions after combat starts, but it happens during my turn. And Thorns, I'm pretty sure, are only active during the enemy turn, not immediately when combat starts on your turn. Yeah, because that wouldn't make sense if they did. Which means that any sort of power a minion would get from Thorns, I could not get from any kind of devouring buff. Because, like, those steel chompers are the best way to devour, or giving Hothead to your Norfins. and it thins out the pool a little bit for the other common trinkets to appear. So yeah, I think I'm happy with this selection. Right, so far I haven't tried fighting Sarella with Sawnose Sid. In fact, I haven't used Sawnose Sid on this map at all. So this is gonna be a little bit of an experiment. But yeah, let's see where it goes. Alright, so early torture room is interesting. Sawnose Sid has mischievous and aggressive as his traits, which means he can both either choose to get a relic for free at this node or get it after a fight. I'll probably just take it for free because that fight is pretty hard. I think Sawnose Sid can benefit from the relics I get here. There is the Dewy Pantaloons, which triggers death effects on Blade. I think that one is a bit ambitious. It would mean that my Norfin would eat 2 cards, basically. Which I guess I would get all of my devoted deckhands on the board very fast. But it also means that I'm gonna run out of cards very quick. Kind of scary. Probably usable if I find the right trinkets and relics for this. But yeah, there's also just the Blood Scalpel, which can revive death minions, which, I mean, I guess I'm gonna revive Norfins with that for the most part, which isn't great, but I mean, if I get that relic for free, then I'll take it. There's also a Hogwash Forge, which can give me Hothead on something. Hothead on Norfin is pretty good. That means I would be fighting second half elite, which is Dungeon Keeper, unfortunately. That is a bit terrifying. My first half elite would be Brigade Bros, which is definitely more manageable. Drivel is also on the map. Not really anything that can make good use of that. Sawnose Sid doesn't have a lot of spells. There are some other blue faction mercenaries that would give me more access to spells. And I could find relics that give me spells. Like, if I pick up the Bloody Scalpel, I suppose I would have a reliable spell. And that is actually a pretty good combo. Yeah, Bloody Scalpel plus Riff effect on whatever you are reviving. So Riff triggers whenever you play a spell. Bloody Scalpel is a spell, and the way the ordering works is you play the Bloody Scalpel, your death minion revives, and the Riff effect on that death minion will trigger from the Bloody Scalpel you just played. So that would mean I could just keep reviving Norfins to get extra Draconic Chords into my hand, which will give me a good amount of sustain. Means skipping out on the Hogwash Forge, but then I can fight the first half elite and I don't have to mess around with the Dungeon Keeper. Yeah, so I think I really like that. Mid-boss is gonna be Ronin. It could be... That could pose a problem. Ronin will slaughter all of my minions, and then he can jab me in the face a couple of times, which will deal a lot of a lot of damage. So probably not gonna be able to get S rank with that mid boss, but And for the first fight, I think I'll probably go with Scalp and Ricky over Hoopla, because Hoopla has a lot of removal and Sawnose Sid is a bit susceptible to that. Being a mostly minion-based mercenary. And yeah, I do not wanna draw Devoted Deckhand, because I want the Norfin to eat it, and it can only eat cards in your deck. Being on the play, I'm actually not good right now with him, because I want to place my Norfin so that they can die wherever the enemy puts their minions, like this. And yeah. Just put Bolon here, maximize my chances for Sawnose Sid to be summoned. Nice. And I get a big chicken. I'm gonna keep that chicken until he plays a Scalp and Ricky. Oh, I guess he already drew those. Now I can eat this guy. And if he blocks this lane, I'm gonna be sad, because then I'm not gonna get my overkill, but not really much I can do about it. Like, I guess I can play a Hungry Clucky over here. It's not gonna get any stronger at this point. Yeah. So I'll still get lethal this turn, but I guess with Sawnose Sid I shouldn't worry too much about getting overkill out of the way early. One ultimate is gonna be enough to achieve that. Alright, so I can either pick 3 Smithies with no spells in my deck. Smithy gains armor whenever I play spells. There are the Shiver Thin Acolytes for more Norfins. Don't want to pick them that early. Those Norfins are gonna eat through my deck real quick. Hydrafin is kind of a cool get. I do like Jab though as well. Just gives me a little bit of removal, which every deck should have at least some of those in the deck. And also gives me a win condition with Apex Strike. But, I do like the path leading up to the lead. Seeing one trinket shop after my second battle is pretty nice. And ooh, I was hoping for that. So of course on this map, because first card from other colors will cost you 1 more mana, you wanna try and combine your deck with cards from the same color. And yeah, one of the other blue decks is Frost. Frost gives me access to a good variety of spells. I do also like adding another Death Rattle minion, one that I might prefer over the Norfin. Nilmi probably would have been a little bit better. I think her spells Like, of course, with the Frost effect, Piper has stronger spells, but the kendos you get from Nilmi just give you more utility. But Piper is still really good, and he can also give me a relic, which whenever I freeze minions, will freeze the enemy hero. So effectively double my damage against the enemy hero on a turn of my choosing. And yeah, with my ult, giving me a bunch of stats in one turn, that's gonna be pretty cool. Other options, trap deck, kind of weak, especially when all the cards are more expensive. Master Star Scale focuses on playing a lot of cheap stuff, so also pretty hampered by the higher mana cost. I also don't really particularly like her starting deck. In the mercenary recruitment, at least. So I think that's a pretty obvious Piper. 100 gold as well. That's I mean, yeah, I guess they don't have any direct synergy. Although I would consider double damage to be a pretty good synergy for almost any deck. And yeah, if I wanna go to the Dungeon Keeper, I need to go right. I don't see the Frost Mage hat, but of course there's still the Blood Sausage, which is the draw relic basically. There's also a Soul Spark. Is there anything that would work with this? It's kind of interesting with the Hangry Clucky. So Soul Spark gives me a trigger a friendly minion effect, a plate effect. Targets are chosen randomly, so that Hangry Clucky would devour random minions, which I think, yeah, it can include my own minions. It's, yeah, probably not that good. Hangry Clucky will also get silenced after one attack. So that actually nerfs Spark Essence by quite a bit on this map. Because you're at most gonna get 2 Soul Sparks for 1 minion. But on a different map, this could be a pretty funny strategy. Just have one Hangry Clucky. Keep buffing and buffing and buffing it. Probably give it tough to make it more survivable as well. Yeah. I'm also, there's the other Frost Relic, although once per turn after you cast a Frost spell, give a minion in your opponent's hand, death summon a Shiverbolt Slime for your opponent. So it's a 2/2 that summons a 1/1 with some random frost damage attached to it. Kind of weak, because it only works once per turn, and like the enemy can just not play the card that's inflicted with that debuff. Like maybe it's not even that good of a card. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one. But yeah, so I'll just take the Blood Sausage. Fight Brigade Bro number 1. Same enemy as the Elite, just without the relic. And yeah, I think that's a fine opening hand. Got my Nilfin in hand. Got a couple of Shiver Shades for damage. I guess I can play a Rhymepo. Really matter where that goes. And then I don't really want to play anything, because that would lose my death triggers. I'm gonna block this twice, because the first one is gonna make the barrier disappear. Kind of unfortunate that I'm giving him a plunder effect, but don't necessarily want to take 2 damage as well. Oh, interesting. So the fact that I can eat the cards he's adding to my deck is kind of cool. The fact that I'm getting in... What happens if I play it? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. There was a chance that it wouldn't do anything. Kind of getting... That Cyclonic Blast would be really good just for now. Yeah. That looks like it's gonna be a reset pretty soon. I do wanna get that S rank. Just try to block it. Oh. That didn't go very well. Yeah. And that's S rank gone. I think that this fight even is just straight up lost. Yeah, now I start getting bombs into my deck as well. Guess like I can eat this. Right now I'm taking 6, 10, 11. If I block these, they'll get stronger. But at this point I kind of just have to hope that I draw the Cyclonic Blast. Okay, so next time I know playing a Brigade Trap that's manually summoned in your hand will still trigger its effect. I kind of expected this to happen, but I just wanted to know for sure. Well, there's the Cyclonic Blast. Gonna have to block those now. Or just die. Yeah, he has more cards than I do. Pretty soon I'm gonna draw a bomb, probably. Oh, hold on. Ah. Jab. Having just enough damage to win. Alright. So I just wanted to see whether I can still win that fight, but I am gonna run this back. I'm gonna try one more time with the same starting deck. Alright, so new map, new nodes. Got an oddity shop right over here, so maybe there's some glimmer stuff I can do. Also very damage buff. Alternatively, Hogwash Forge. Once again, Hothead is pretty good. Another torture room right before the boss. Probably the best out of those three options, unless I want to see more relics. Drivel once again on the board. Second half elite blast. Don't mind that one. Brigade Bros. Once again. Not sure if the deck was just bad against that guy last time, or whether it was the draw. And I guess the fact that I had a bunch of cheap minions with no stats kind of sucked in this fight. Makes me run out of cards real fast. And then he can generate new cards with like Stab and Grab and his Brigade traps. And overwhelm me. So I kind of need more high value cards if I want to fight that guy. Which the starting deck of the Frost guy does not have. He is strong, but only after you went through a couple of campfires and trinket shops and whatnot. If I get Nilmi instead, they could probably fare a good bit better against the Brigade Bros. Hothead just helps a lot against those plunder effects. Although no trinket shops before the first half elite. This doesn't help. 2 relics is probably not going to be strong enough. But yeah, Blast is a pretty chill fight for the most part. Two card shops. It's not my favorite path. I do have to do that if I want to get Drivel. Drivel is good if I'm gonna go to the torture room. What are my other options? This path on the right seems pretty good. 2 trinket shops, 2 campfires. So yeah, that means second half, got a couple of options, either more trinket shops or dribble fight. Kinda depends if I get any good buffs or minions to make the torture room worth it. Hogwash Forge does give me guaranteed Hothead and a damage buff, but that's probably not as good as seeing 2 trinket shops. I could even not pick up an Elder Relic. Get one of the Elder Relics from the torture room. Which leaves me with more money at the trinket shops. Just have to go through one battle without a relic. Kind of depends on the mercenary I'll be getting, which of these paths is best. Lots of options. Like if I get a Glimmer deck, I'd be going to the oddity shop. If I get cannons, I'd be going to the Hogwash Forge. Cannons could work with this. Devoted Deckhand is a pirate, and it's a pirate that can be resummoned a number of times. So yeah, cannon is something I'd be interested in. Glimmer is something I'd be interested in. Dragon Brand might be something I'm interested in. Lieutenant Juniper is actually something I'm pretty interested in. Got Hot Head for the signature minion over here. Got Severed Hand for the extra poison over here. Or rather, like, buff on the poison. Bombs would also be an option, so a very, very flexible map. I do really like this layout. Theoretically, I could even pick up Evolve, but that would... But I'd have a long time to wait on my buff. And between those two... probably prefer the golden deck. That groupie deck is kind of buffed for a first fight deck. Most first fights only have like 2 or 3 different cards in their pool, and this one has like a full deck basically at the beginning. But yeah, Gearbot should not be a big problem. Ah, goddammit. Don't want to draw these. As previously mentioned. Yeah, I guess I want these to die as early as possible right now to maximize the chances of summoning the Devoted Deckhand before he gets drawn. Later on, I kind of want to stagger the Northins a little bit because the Blood Sausage only works once per turn. Yeah, without that relic. Nice. And the second one didn't hit, but I do have a 5 stat minion now. I can also play him, and he'll have a good chance of eating the deckhands that are in my hand now. That's kind of cool. Only chickens left to eat now, but... yeah, I'm just waiting until I get this down. Then I'm gonna get this chicken out of my hand, so that the Sawnose Sid will eat the deckhands. Ooh, this is gonna be fun now. So this guy will be unblockable, and he'll summon at least 1 deckhand, and there's a 50-50... Alright, yeah, 50-50 chance that he'll summon 2. Nom. Okay. 1-1, but that's okay. I'm still getting the overkill. Yeah. Pretty fun. Even better without the silence when he just spits all of that out. So I got a bunch of crappy neutral cards. Shuffles, 1/1 copies of set minions into my deck. I guess that could be kind of good with the devoted deckhand. Plain copy, I presume, means just this card without any buffs, but also without any nerfs. So I can use this to get more devoted deckhands into my deck. Get more of them eaten by the Northwind. It's kind of cool. Don't like the Scalp and Reki. Right now the only target for that guy is the Northwind. He is more of a like Lustrous Starscale card where you summon a bunch of groupies. And Soti Rogue is just whatever. Fireball for some damage, not the most exciting card. It's alright. Lowlife Fisher. And also kind of alright. And Scorching Whirlwind is nice for some all clear. There's also Shiverfin Siren. Devour a friendly minion to freeze all enemy minions. Ooh. So, if I pick up the Frost guy again, that's one way to trigger the magic hat. Also ticks up my ultimate. There's also Blood Shark on play, devour 2 random death minions and both trigger and gain their death effects. So right now that would mostly eat 2 Northwinds. Which would eat 2 cards in my deck for some extra stats, which is not the most exciting. Also kind of hard to trigger that guy's death with the silence. Or another Angry Clocky. I think for now I'm just happy to take the Scorching Whirlwind. I kind of do want some kind of spell damage. Right, and now the tavern. So here is Bomb Guy. So Bomb Guy would go well with the torture rule. Could get the Dewey Pantaloons. Get double S, double Northlands. I'd probably remove the Northlands at that point though. Discard. That's kind of horrible with Sawnose Sid. I'm hand buffing my cards, and then Abraxas just discards those. Yeah, that's just, yeah, no, that doesn't work. Lustrous Starscale. Yeah, kind of bad with the extra cost. Tang is probably a pretty solid choice. The guy himself is just a pretty strong finisher. Get a couple of extra bombs, get a couple of removal spells, probably remove the burst. I did use him in yesterday's run though. Kind of want to see one that fits better with my map layout. Like, this looks much more interesting. So there is res. Res is an option to pick up a power cord and buff it up. Which I'd want to do if I go to the dribble fight. Pick up a rift effect for the Northin. Juniper would give me Hothead and could enable Severed Hand. How good is Severed Hand? This is probably the worst map for Severed Hand. One of the things Severed Hand does is just fill your front row with a bunch of jump blockers. Which is pretty cool to have, but in this in the final boss fight I'm gonna have to deal with Trample. It's still gonna be a lot of utility in the early game. And having Hothead Juniper is kinda cool. I could put Whiff on the Spore Whisper. And then there's also Dragon Brand. So yeah, Dragon Brand works pretty well with Sawnose Sid. Because he has a bunch of death triggers, and guess how you can trigger those. You can just eat the cards. I could put like a cannon trinket on a Hangry Clucky. Make those cannons trigger with things like Pirate Recruit. I get the Severed Hand and the Cannon Trinket on a Clucky. That would be a fun combo as well. Make the Skull Recruits that spawn from the spells shoot cannon shots. That's actually a really cool strat to have with Lieutenant Juniper, because you get those spells more consistently. That is something I want to try out. Maybe on the next map. I'm not sure with the Cannon Trinket what the order is. So like the Hungry Clucky has that effect where it eats a minion with less power. If it summons a cannon and is then forced to eat a minion, but the cannon is the only thing I can eat, I don't get that effect, although I would make the Clucky very beefy. It would make it a 1-1-5. But yeah, I won't be able to utilize the cannon. If the trinket effect happens after the card effect, that would be good. Then I would not be forced to eat my own cannons, but I'm not sure how that works exactly. So hotheads are at hand. Or three pantaloons. Or cannons are at hand. Not particularly fond of playing a Grove Keeper for 3. Other poison cards are gonna be quite expensive as well. Let's see what Dragon Brand will lead me. So probably what I want to do now is skip the Elder Relic, pick up the Dewy Pantaloons. I think that's better than the Bloody Scalpel. Like, I do have to consider the extra cost on Bloody Scalpel. Or I see Dewy Pantaloons in one of those 2 relic nodes. Get the Bloody Scalpel in this one. Remove the Norfin so that I can focus on the Void Ancient. Let's see. So I get Curse Pearl, which gives me jump blockers when my pirates die. That's meh. I do get the Dewy Pantaloons here. Or the lucky coin. I'm gonna pick up the Dewy Pantaloons. And then Hogwash Forge would give me Hothead on... Well, it would give me a pyro damage buff on the Void Ancient. That's something I definitely want to do. And then Hothead on... probably the Void Ancient as well. Will I have the money for that? 160. First one costs 40. Next one costs 100. So yeah, need to have enough gold to get both trinkets on the Void Ancient. One campfire to get rid of something. Get back in the deck. Honestly, just get that whole hand back out there. We could very well lose to this fight again. Maybe I don't even want to really remove cards. Because I'm eating so many of them. I could solve that problem by removing Norfin. However, the Dewy Pantaloons Norfin also ticks up my ultimate at a very accelerated rate. I'm eating so many of my cards. I probably want that relic that shuffles expensive cards that get eaten back into the deck with a buff. I think that'd be pretty cool. Alright, focusing all of his spells on that guy. Kind of need to deal with that blocker somehow. I think I can do it though. 8 mana means I can play a crewmate, a Norfin, and a Clucky, which means I can play the crewmate so that when my Norfin triggers their death effect from the Louis Pantaloons, it'll eat some random card in my deck, buff one of the Hangry Cluckies. It can only buff a Hangry Clucky because I will have played the Haunted Crewmate, and then my Clucky will be able to eat that Pirate Recruit because it's buffed and is stronger than the Pirate Recruit. So yeah, that line gives me lethal. Long. And shot. Alright. Got kind of scary at the end there. But luckily I was able to target my buffs. And I get another Scorching Whirlwind. Probably not too bad. A jab, a Storm Virus, which gives a random, which gives a minion fleeting. So they die, but they'll attack one more time before they do so. A couple of neutral cards, an Otsutsuki, draws me a bunch of cards, potentially. Brown Tooth adds a random pirate to my hand. Does it work with the Louis Pantaloons? Lily Lols can give me cards from my graveyard. Now I do wonder how exactly that works. Like, do I just get the card itself, or do I get the card with all of its potential buffs it had? Doesn't really matter on this map, because you're gonna lose the buffs to the Silence Mask, but on a different map I kind of want to find out. Blood Elf, destroy friendly minion to draw 2. It does cost me a little bit. It's kind of good for being able to kill my minions before they silence themselves. Although ideally I want to achieve that with Hothead. think I'm just gonna pick up another Scorching Whirlwind. Good, becomes a good target for buffs. Also, once I buff the Pyro and Draconic damage on the Void Ancient, it's the kind of buff that doesn't only apply to the unit, it's like a static buff. So having Void Ancients on the board will make my Whirlwinds stronger as well. And then I can take a jab if I want to. Do I have any target for +3 damage right now? Not exactly. I think I'll do that. In that case. But yeah, I do want to go to the Forge. I probably do want to remove those Skull Recruits. They cost 2, that's kind of annoying. Their buffs will often be wasted, I think. I mostly want to get hand buffs. Alright, so Draconic damage goes on Void Ancient, definitely. Cannon Summon. Can I afford this after a hot hit on Void Ancient? No. I kind of want to see what happens if I put it on a chicken, so let's just put hot hit on Norfin for now. Get a cannon on the chicken. Alright, get 2 chickens in hand to test it out right away. 3 chickens. Now I kind of wish I had some Norfins to buff them up. Well, let's see. Okay, so yeah, the cannon gets summoned after the chicken attempts to resolve its play effect. It does make it better, I think. It's pretty good with the devoted deckhands. Well, let's recycle that cannon real quick. Right, cool. Now I can finally eat stuff. And eat some more stuff. Wow, this got buffed a lot. Well, let me eat another cannon. Ideally I want this to get summoned with Sawnose Sid. Ooh, nice. And I get a cannon triggered. Yeah, this cannons definitely do some fun stuff. And now 10 damage. That's unfortunately not lethal. And because the enemy doesn't have anything on the board, my ultimate is also useless. Ooh, nice. That's good though. So next turn, please play something. I guess that is something. Not sure how much I like where this is going. In particular with the Norfin eating all of my cards. I mainly want them to eat the Devour deck hands. And I mainly want them to do so when there are cannons on the board. Yeah, Loot Sack is useless on this map in particular. Deem a death minion that died this game. Other minions, its death effect. Summon dragons from my hand. That currently only applies to Dragon Band. Well, I guess it also applies to Void Ancient, but I'm just gonna play these. They are cheaper than the Ancient Commander. This deals damage to the enemy when you switch between Pyro and Frost spells. I don't have any Frost spells right now. This eats death minions from my deck and triggers their death. That could be kinda cool with the Void Ancient and the Haunted Crewmate. Kinda sucks that it probably won't trigger those effects twice. Like, it will probably get silenced before it can die. I do wonder though whether gaining death effects means it goes into the Bloody Scalpel pool. That'd be pretty cool if I can keep reviving it. Famished Fish eats adjacent minions for stats. So the main thing that before is to eat devoted deckhands on the board, which now that there is a cannon, that is kind of useful. Because the resummon will also re-trigger the cannons. And this gives me more Northwinds, which will give me more fuel for the Dewy Pantaloons. I think I like this whole package. And then I kind of want to add more deckhands to the deck. Alright, this sometimes happens, sometimes when you clone a card, the game bugs out and stops. You just have to close the game and open it again, and it'll fix it. So let me just pause the recording real. Alright. Got it cloned. So yeah, now my Northwinds are more likely to eat the devoted deckhands. And now there's the Dungeon Keeper. And I'll just take the 5 HP. That's probably less HP than I'd lose if I fought him. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't give you any money if you beat him in a fight. I think usually event fights specify if they give you money. And yeah, I just want to get the Bloody Scalpel for more revivals. Severed Hand is kind of interesting with the Cannon summoning tool. I've actually never considered that before, but that's really good on Lieutenant Juniper. Because she has a 2-drop epic minion as well. And these just summon Skull Recruits that will trigger that cannon that you can play for 2. That's an incredible combo. I need to try that out on the next map or something. Or if this attempt fails, I'll try that out. And yeah, Magma Trident is very dangerous. Unless you have incredible amounts of sustain. So yeah, just take the Scalpel. And oh, Toxic Slime. That could be annoying. This guy jams the board with a bunch of rotten spores. Usually he's an okay fight, but I need all the board space I can get. Yeah, this fight could very well go sideways. Yeah, I do like having the Clucky in hand immediately. I think having a tough minion early on is pretty good. This can give me more Northins. So yeah, pretty happy with that hand. And I'm just gonna start eating. Yeah, so the board jamming is definitely pretty annoying. Eventually he'll play flying minions, which just fly over all of these rotten spores. Yes, this is okay. Please need a deckhand. Alright, it already lost its death trigger. Yes. Doesn't... Hold on. The way the Hungry Clucky works, it should be able to eat one of those rotten spores and then summon a cannon behind it, no? Like, I just figured out beforehand that the order is eat first, then summon cannon. So I think... Eat it. Summon cannon, yes. And then this can... probably just eat the tough minion. Oh, I probably should get rid of those unanswered Silkies, so... yeah, didn't realize he had 2 of those. That's a bunch of card draw. Keep spawning extra cannons. Ah, I should have figured. One of the announced Tsukis dies. Well, that looks scary, doesn't it? Fortunately, I can do this though. Ooh, that's good. Please don't target this. Anyway, oh no. A bunch of strong minions with a bunch of stats. Nom. Yeah. That's... Once that ultimate is ready, yeah. So those Northwinds are pretty good. Like, I just need to play 4 of these and then they'll have done the job. Oh. Interesting. So I have either low life fishes with extra damage, which is okay. Deal 2 damage in a column. Oh, okay. Potentially redeem 2 pirate minions. A cheaper jab. I mean, I like the mana reduction. 2 mana for 1 damage is kind of sucks, but 1 damage for 1 mana is usable, I guess. Also another Void Ancient. Also a Dusk Drake with a mana reduction. In fact, Dusk Drake with mana reduction doesn't mean that it triggers Dewy Pantaloons. So basically what happens when I play this is the Dewy Pantaloons will consider the base cost of the card. So it sees, yeah, this is 3 mana or less. Like trinkets adjust the base cost, the mask that increases other faction cards does not. So the Dewy Pantaloons will trigger, it deals 3 draconic damage to all minions, including itself, which means it will die immediately, and then trigger 3 draconic damage to all minions again. So it's just a board clear pretty much. And another Void Ancient is also pretty cool. What's even cooler though is a chicken with Ribs of Rage, which doubles its stats when played, but increases its mana cost by 1. But guess what? I also get a mana reduction. Now, from what I just saw, it eats first and then triggers its trinket effects. So I can buff this Clucky, I can eat something, and then it'll double what the stats it has gained from the devouring. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I really do like this package just for having 6 damage board wipe basically. And 1 more Void Ancient is also kind of good to put it into the pool as early as possible. Although at this point I feel like I'm pretty much banking on the Northwinds just eating as much as possible to get my ult up as fast as possible. And the Cluckies are a very good target for the Northwind buffs. So yeah, I'll pick that Clucky. That's a very good boss drop. And I am going towards the Deadly Battle. There are a couple of ways to do that. Removes are kind of interesting right now. Shop removes at least. I'm not sure how much I care about the Void Ancient at this point, to be honest. If I get some more damage buffs on it, it's pretty alright. But like mainly I want to focus on getting these out. Mana Vault would just give me 50 gold. If I had Empathetic, I could get the relic that gives starting minions in the starting hand +1 power, which would actually be pretty good for the Hangry Clucky. What trinkets do I care about? I do care about stat buffs on the deckhand. Inanimate would be really good on this, so it doesn't silence itself. +2 damage on Void Ancient or the Scorching Ball would be pretty good. Shop to remove Dragon Brand and potentially Haunted Crewmate. Don't really want this. I don't really want to play this for 5. And I probably don't want to put it into the Bloody Scalpel pool. Oh, that's, yeah. I could get 3 campfires. Just get even more chickens. Maybe more Shiverfin Acolytes. More Shiverfin Acolytes actually sounds pretty good. Like, 2 of those basically get me to my ult. That means skipping out on Dribble. Like, Dribble Norfin is a thing. Question is, how consistently am I getting the special win condition in this fight? I don't have a lot of draw, so I'm probably not overclocking my hand. And I do have a guaranteed spell in hand, however it does cost 4 mana. And my only cheap spell is, Jab, which I only have 1 copy of. And I don't particularly enjoy seeing 2 card shops. I guess I could see 1 card shop, get 50 gold here, still see 2 campfires, see a trinket shop right before the boss with 2 rerolls. That's not too bad. Kind of hedging my bets. I would prefer 3 campfires, probably. And a trinket shop now. Although, yeah, 1 card shop to remove that useless Dragon Brand and the Haunted Crewmate would be pretty good. And I can't get another card shop if I fight the lead. So yeah, I'm probably going left. Alright, so armor up. Gets armor, buffs minions, and gives me better armor on later turns. Minion buffs, usually not that good on this map, but it's kind of cool to buff something like the Devoted Deckhand. Plate and death effects triggered twice. Could be good. Means that I can have a Shiverfin Acolyte add 4 Norfins into my hand. Get my ult really quick with that one. Double damage from Void Ancients. Blood Shark with this is kind of funny. Because it gets multiplied twice, right? It eats 4 death minions and then triggers 4 death effects twice. Yeah, usually I don't really like that card because it's kind of expensive. But I think it can lead to some fun plays in this deck. But I do have the money. Does Cling give friendly minions with unique classes +1/+1? These are classless. Classless. I have some pirates. I have dragon. As a 3-drop with 9 attacks. Not that great. Revive a cheap death minion on played as an 8 to most likely revive a Northern. Destroy a random enemy minion on death, kind of inconsistent. I mean, that kind of removal is good against dinosaurs, but it's kind of expensive. Shiverfin Acolyte, I definitely like. Having another copy of those. Get more Northlands into my hand. It's just some efficiency in the draw. Just have to draw one card to get 2 Northlands instead of drawing 2 Northlands. So yeah, I think I'll pick up that Djinn. I'll pick up another Acolyte. I'll remove Dragon Brand. I'll remove Crewmate. These two are also a thing. I don't think I want more than one Famished Fish. It's... although if I only have one, it can just get eaten by the Northwind. Same thing with the Blood Shark. Blood Shark could be an important win condition. 2 Devours might make the difference between having the ult in time and not having it. And yeah, Famished Fish. Mostly there to eat the devoted deckhands. Could also eat Northlands if I don't have any targets for those. Could also eat Blood Sharks before they get silenced. Yeah, I think that Blood Shark thing convinces me that I'm gonna buy these. And with the Bloody Scalpel, summoning minions in random spots. The ability to trigger those death effects quicker might also make difference. Do I want to spend 80 on another move? I don't think there's anything left that I want to get rid of desperately. I can still see 3 campfires, in fact. I can also get 50 gold, see 2 campfires, or get to a relic shop. What would I do with 3 campfires? I mean, probably more chickens, probably more Shiverfin Acolytes. Having a lot of chickens is really important with this deck. I need those in hand as early as possible so that they get buffed by the Northern and can actually eat something and benefit from the double stats. So yeah, I might just straight up go to 3 campfires, get like 1 Shiverfin Acolyte and 2 chickens. Or 1 Shiverfin Acolyte, 1 chicken, look at a relic shop. There could be some good relics. I still haven't seen the Chompers. Chompers are actually pretty bad right now. Because then I can use the Hungry Clucky. Chompers are the ones that eat front row minions for stat gains. I want to play Hungry Cluckies in the front row so that I can summon the cannon behind them. I also don't have Inanimate yet for the Devoted Deckhand. Which means that first of all they might attack and die or attack and silence themselves, and second of all, without the +1/+1, you also gain less stats from reading those. Yeah, I'm not sure if I would pick up Chompers right now. It is another way to tick up my ult. And I guess I still have the flexibility to put the Hangry Clucky in the back row. Not get the cannon, just get the stat buffs. If I play a super buff chicken, that's... yeah, the cannon probably won't matter. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I probably still want Chompers. I can also chomp the Shiver Fin Acolyte, which otherwise doesn't do much. So yeah, clone, look for chomps, buy trinkets. I think that's the path. And I'm gonna pick a Shiver Fin Acolyte first. And then I'm gonna make another Clucky. Ah, Slime Man again. I just fought you, my dude. Well, at least I know that the chickens work well in this fight. Look for chickens. Nice. Got a chick. That's good. Buff the chicken. No, don't eat the chicken, buff the chicken. Ah. Right. Give me more of these guys. Buff the chicken. Ah, that's not the chicken, but okay. I do have the famished fish, which can clear up a bit of space. Yeah, I can put it down here, or he can make space that way. Ooh, nice. Got the blocker down. Damn! Eating all of the buffs. Well, okay. Do you want to buff the chicken? Well, that's good. Do I want to take 2 here? Like if I place down the famished fish, I get an Hour Devour and summon the devoted deckhand somewhere. Just get my ult ready faster. Right now there isn't that much danger. Get no damage, and I blocked that lane anyway. So I didn't lose anything. When an opponent plays a minion. So right now, deal 1 damage to all other minions right now. My famished fish would survive. Then both of these would die. Man, I'm getting really lucky on those devoted deck hand spawns. Not so much on the chicken buffs. But that's okay. Taking 4 right now. That's alright. I can eat all of this next turn. Put something down before I ult. It'll deal 1 damage to everything, but this would survive and this doesn't damage itself. So yeah. Bomb. Not a finishing blow, but ooh, that's a cool interaction. So, fleeting causes minions to die, but the silence effect from attacking the enemy happens before the fleeting happens. Just like with dual strike and all that, so yeah. That means my minions don't even die once they attack with their buffed stats. They only lose their stats. That's pretty cool. I guess I'll lock you. And then you die. Okay. Well, that was a lot easier this time. A lot less jamming going on. Right. Beauregard could give me barrier and copies of minions. Pretty sure that copy means including any potential buff. So I could copy some minion I get after rolting. It's interesting, another jab. Probably doesn't really fit into what I'm doing. Another famished fish and blood shark. I think 2 blood shark is more than enough. Right now I'm not really getting to those turns where I can play them. And I probably won't get them more than once. It's just... I'm just having one in case one of them gets eaten, as sort of like a win con, potentially. So yeah, I don't think I need another one. I don't think I need famished fish. It's also kind of just for safety if I need to eat something, most likely a blood shark. Hydrofin. Yeah, I could eat like an enemy dinosaur. Could also just get a little bit of healing on and some armor. If I see inanimate though, I'm gonna prioritize it on the devoted deckhand. And Smithy also kind of really needs inanimate to be good. And I don't have... Well, I do have the bloody scalpel that I can play over and over again. So yeah, I do have a spell that the Smithy can use. I'm not sure what cost the Smithy will consider. Like whether I gain 3 or 4 armor, because the spell costs 4, but I'll use 4 mana to play. I already saw with the dual pantaloons that one looks at like the cost of that's printed on the card, not the one that you use to cast it. Right now I don't see a reason why it would be different, but I'd be kind of curious to find out. So yeah, let's just get the smithies. I don't feel too bad about filling up my deck, because I'm gonna eat a bunch of those cards anyway. And as long as I have enough Hangry Cluckies. I should be good to proceed as I did. And I do want to look at relics. Alright, I do see the Chompers, and I see a Heart Potion. And I see Rumble Ring. Yeah. Freeze Fist. Could matter for the Smithy. I definitely want the chompers. I think I'm taking +5 health as well, because I am going for S rank. Means that this relic node is most likely useless, but there's no way to avoid relic nodes if I'm fighting the deadly battle. Don't know what I'd prefer over hard potion at this point. And don't need the blood shark, don't need the... I can get rid of all of this. Yeah, this is good. Get those no fins early on. No chickens, but that's okay. Once I do get a chicken, it will be much easier to buff it up now that I have the chompies. Now I ate 2 chickens. That's not necessarily what I was looking for. I'll see if I can... Well, it just kills my smithy. Okay. And yeah, I think I will not chomp the Void Ancient. I want to save a little bit of health. I guess I'll break the barrier on that thing. Ooh. Finally get a Henry Clucky buff for the first time. Get 2 devoted deckhands out. Yeah, that's really good. Get some damage going. Took 10, but thanks to the hard potion, I can take 15. And yeah, this turn I'm probably gonna ult. I can... Oh, yes, I didn't want to do that actually. Now my Hangry Clucky might get eaten. Although if it does happen, that means that my devoted tech hand will get some damage through. I guess to make that less likely, I'll put something else in the front row. Yep. Very good. I can eat the cannon. Make the cannon staffs actually useful. Although then I might eat 4 damage from that guy. But, well, yeah. 25 is still fine though, as long as I don't take any other damage. Unless I draw a bomb, which might happen. Please don't draw a bomb. Ah, ouch. And I can't out-heal that. So yeah, losing S rank. That was an unfortunate misplay. Should have just left the cannon alive. Ah, wow. Can eat the fish. Get Giga Lethal. And some more smell that lets me get copies from a trinket. Not trinket, from a minion. That's pretty good. Cap Nibble lets me steal enemy minions. That might also come in clutch. So yeah, I think I'll pick the whole pack again. And expensive minion costs less. Scorching Tiles makes it deal damage or evolve. I don't want evolve. Expensive minions cost less might actually be good. Make the Blood Shark playable. And now that I lost S rank, I might as well get rid of the Heart Potion. And I can get Rush and Relentless on something. So Rush could be very good. Allows me to use the ult buff immediately. I think I'm gonna put that on the Blood Shark. That one will tick up the ultimate. So it's kind of likely that I'll have the ult once I play that guy. And I can play him for 6. I can eat the board and deal a shit ton of unavoidable damage for the enemy. Relentless could go on the Void Ancient. Then it would lose the Dewey Pantaloons. -1 mana could go. On Smithy probably. Actually makes a big difference. Like, this means I can actually combine it with a spell the same turn I play it. Inanimate, yes. Very important. Immediately goes on devoted deckhand. Gets you more stats, makes it less likely to lose that guy to damage and silence instead of devouring, which is how you want to lose him, because then you don't really lose him. -1 mana. Guess that goes on Shiver Finacolite. I could also go for +1 damage on the Scorching Whirlwind. But most of the minions I want to clear out with this already die to 2 damage. So let's see how well this deck does. Oh, there's a lot of chickens. So the greedy play is just to keep this hand and wait for the Shiverfin Acolytes and Northings to come. See if I can get the Blood Shark out with the ult. I think it's sensible to switch out the Blood Shark, but I do want to keep 3-hand Cluckies. And I get a Moldus Mallet. Yeah, I'll just pass my turn. I'll just tank a little bit of damage. Don't mind taking damage now that I'm going for S rank. Just see how far I can go with this. Right, get a smithy. Do like a smithy, block this. Let this get eaten. Get a super buffed Heart Mage. Which I mostly just want to convert into stats for the chickens. Now it can only target chickens. And yeah, this is a 9-10 chicken, so it can basically eat anything. Once it eats anything, it'll be 18-20. And I can actually make it eat 2 things and buff twice with the Mistmancer Djinn. Right. Nice. Got some stuff. Probably want to wait until I can play these with 7. Guarantee that I'm getting the double plate effect. So I think I'll just revive. Because I want to play the Blood Shark after the Mistmancer as well. Ooh, perfect timing. Thank you very much, Sarella. So, Mistmancer Djinn. Blade effects trigger twice. Hangry Clucky. I do wonder how the order goes exactly. Like, does it trigger card effect twice? Then trigger its effect twice? Does it do card trinket? And does it get the first stat boost before it gets the second one? Because that one matters a lot, actually. Because I need to eat the Poppersaw first before I can eat the Shrub Rex. Number 1, gain stats. Oh, it eats the same minion twice. That's... Huh. Interesting. Alright, so that means I take 10, I suppose. However... Nom. Jesus, that's... a lot of foods. Also, I shouldn't have picked up the Night Nibble. Because it has a death rattle that damages the enemy hero. the way it's usually meant to be used is that you steal the minion and give that thing to the enemy, and then the enemy will take damage once that thing dies. But since I have it in my deck and this can potentially eat it, that means that I can take damage from that thing myself. So yeah, learned a lesson there. But so this thing just ate like a trillion minions, basically capable of triggering the ult on its own. But yeah, I'm not done yet. Boom. Nom. And yeah, so the death rattle of that 1 minion happened before I absorbed the stats on everything. That does mean I'm sadly losing out on 1 giga attack, but I still have these two guys. And 42 damage overkill. The boss only has 45 health. So yeah, that's no S rank, unfortunately, but very fun deck. Definitely worth it picking up the 2 Pantaloons. I wasn't sure in the beginning, because I was kind of afraid of just running out of cards, eating so many cards in my deck. But the fact that you just get your ult so much quicker makes a big difference. Basically being 4 Northins away to get that death trigger, that ult up and running, that's kind of incredible. Yeah, Rush also definitely helps. I'm not sure how much picking up purple actually helped. Like, the Void Ancient didn't do anything. And Dragon Brand didn't add any traits either, because this already has aggressive and mischievous. Those are the same traits as Dragon Brand. Yeah, mostly it's just the Northin, the Shiverfin Acolyte, and then basically anything. Ideally some kind of rush minion. Rush really helps with that ult. And yeah, Blood Shark is a decent win con. If this is your only death minion in the deck, Blood Shark can only eat Northin, so it will get 2 Devour triggers, and then 2 more from the Northin. So yeah, that's worth 4 ult points. If you pick up a Mistmaster Jin in the shop, that's 8. If you have enough Northins in the deck. But yeah, I definitely... I think I overlooked that card before. Haven't used that much beforehand, but yeah, this is definitely pretty good. Nice win con. Yeah, I suppose Famished Fish did something, despite the silence. It is nice to be able to eat those cannons you get from the Hangry Cluckies. Unless it means taking too much damage for S rank. But yeah. So, since I'm I didn't get S rank, I'll run it back next time with the Sarella map. I'll still upload this because I think that's a pretty cool synergy. And yeah, maybe I'll go for the Lieutenant Juniper cannons next time. Let's kinda try to pick her up with Dragon Brand as a combo. Of the Skull Recruits. And then every poison will convert into 2 damage to a random minion, a jump blocker, and +1/+1 on one of my minions, plus the base poison effect. It's of course the map does have to line up. You need an early torture room and an accessible hotwash forge for that to work. Maybe I'll do like a separate video, like synergy showcase, where I'll just re-roll the map until I find one that works for this strat. I think that'd be kind of cool. Utilizes 3 factions without adding them to the deck, really. Well, alright. See you next time.